Today's chapter is chapter 9. It's Keeper of the Domain. Do you remember when I talked earlier about in Genesis where it said that we were to be rulers, we were to rule over our dominion? Well, the domain that we often have to rule over, which is probably one of the most difficult, is our home, to become a ruler over our domain. Now, I know that some of you have been trained to do this. Some of you are naturally organized. Some of you just walk through a home and it stands at attention. That's kind of what happens to my husband. He is such an orderly man that he even safety pins his socks together. And he's always done that just since he was very young, so that when he pulls one sock out of the washing machine, there's the other sock. But I am challenged in my whole ability to keep a house. And yet that's the one thing I've realized, that what will make me down the quickest is if my domain, if my home gets out of control. Because I really like a sense of order or beauty, but if I get behind, I just feel like quitting because I'm not naturally skilled as an organizational person. And yet I think that your home is that centerpiece. You're the CEO of this place where life is taking place and relationships are being built. And no matter what we do or how we do it, we have to come up with a plan, because every day of your children's life, they're going to want to eat. And that means shopping, cooking, dirty dishes. They're going to wear at least a semblance of clean clothes, especially when they become teenagers. And they're going to make messes. Now, I do love the scripture in the Proverbs where it says, where there are no oxen, the stall is clean. Now that really encourages me, because in my stall there are usually at least 6 oxen. So if it's not clean all the time, it's because there's life there. So you do have to get perspective on this. But I do want to talk about this whole area because becoming a keeper of your domain will be something that will help your children to enjoy home, to learn how to keep order, to be a part. And that's one thing I've realized. If I'm going to be in my home a lot with my children, and they're going to be there a lot, then I have to employ them to help me. It's not just my responsibility, it's all of our responsibility. And so the first thing that Clay and I really learned was making the keeping of our home a team effort. I hate to hear my children say, well, I cleaned your living room for you. And I will always say, what? Whose living room is it? Is it my living room or is it your living room? Because I want my children to own their responsibility in what my home looks like. It says in Proverbs 31:10 and 27, and I do want you to know that this is not necessarily just about women. This is about a mother saying to her son, an excellent wife who can find, she's saying, son, don't just marry a woman because she's beautiful and you are attracted to her hormonally. You need somebody who can bless you and keep your kids and make a living, because you obviously aren't going to know. That's really not her attitude. But she did want her son to know that this is a big job, and a woman who pushes her sleeves up and has a capacity to work and live with you and last through all the seasons of life. That's the picture in Proverbs 31, learning about the seasons, the amount of work. And one thing that I've realized over the years is that when you practice ruling over your domain, when you practice ordering your house, you really do develop the ability to do more. I feel like my capacity to organize is so much more. My capacity to work is so much more than it used to be. So just keep working at it and it will get better and better. It's kind of like when you have just one baby and your life is totally overwhelmed and you don't think you'll ever have any sleep again, you'll never have control again. But then when you start adding other children, a second child, a third child, having one child seemed really easy. And that's the same way with housework. If you practice, you begin ordering yourself and it becomes better. And I don't think perfection is ever the goal, because if you become a Martha and you expect a perfectly orderly house, then it won't be a place where you can have fun and make messes. But these are some of the things that I've learned, even though I am not great at it. Many years ago, we had been on a particular speaking trip, and after we determined that we were going to have a ministry and write books and materials, it automatically meant that our lives were going to be spent sometimes every year on the road. And we made this decision as a family. And we even talked to our children one time about, we will need to travel this many times this year. Would you rather be on a soccer team and go to all of the games, or would you rather travel with us a certain time of year? They all voted on traveling, and so that really determined what we ended up becoming as a family. But it was so fun one day because we had been on this fun trip. We had been on the East Coast and had to speak in Virginia and in Washington, D.C., and a couple of other fun areas. And we'd seen all the historical museums, and we'd gone to Williamsburg, and we'd eaten fried chicken at an old inn. But as we were driving up the driveway on our way home from the airport, my son Joel said, "Oh, I can't wait to be in our home and lay on our couches and be with our golden retriever and eat our meals and stay in our beds. I love our home." And the whole purpose of creating a home that is a great place to be and ordering it isn't that your home has to be like everyone else, but it's that it's your home and you're nurturing it and making a living environment for your children. What are some of the areas that we need to consider when we come into our home? We need to have a vision for our home. What do you want your home to be like? What kind of a home is comfortable to you? What colors do you like? I realized that I wanted my home to be a visual place so that wherever I was putting decor, there would be something personal that the kids would love. We started collecting once a year in our home these beautiful manuscriptures. They were these hand-illuminated scriptures that this artist did, and we thought if we collected them over the years, then our children would grow up with them, seeing them on our home, and they would appreciate the art, the beauty, and they would see the scriptures. So now we have over 20 manuscriptures in our home that the children have grown up with. I decided that taking pictures and framing and putting photographs all over the house of our favorite historical times would give the kids a reminder, oh yeah, we have fun in this family. Oh yeah, we like each other. Remember, we like each other. They would see pictures of favorite things that we'd done. So I made that a part of my decor. I decided that I wanted my home to be an eclectic place. My home doesn't reflect one style of design. My home reflects that we've lived all over the world and that we have little trinkets and memories and pictures and things, just little tiny things. It's not a materialistic thing I'm talking about. It's a place of interest. Some people say, oh no, I want my home to be like the seashore. And whatever it is, it's your prerogative to make in your own home the things that you would like your home domain to reflect. So